Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
On a day where he installs 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico, how did you feel about his message regarding the economy?
I thought it was very positive. I think what's happening now, we used to be a country that would just let everything happen. Okay, we'll do this. You know, you guys, Panama can have this. You know, I think now we're taking back things that should have never been given away. So I think doing those tariffs and everything, I think it's well overdone. I mean, it should have been done a long time ago.
To the results, what was your reaction to Trump's speech? 44% of speech watchers in our instant poll tonight say they had a very positive reaction to Trump's speech. 25% somewhat positive, 31% negative.
Boy, 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 boy. So we got to continue our coverage of the reactions to President Trump's first address to Congress that happened last night. Now, in my first video today, we focused mainly on the Democrats, okay, and their reaction, which was a complete and total embarrassment. I think it's safe to say at this point that the Democrats are a ghetto, disastrous mess. Take a look.
He's spewing all kinds of nonsense and bullshit. Let me just be real. And we weren't gonna sit for that shit. We wouldn't. You know, we showed up. And if he had some sense, then maybe we would have been about that life. But y'all know he ain't got no sense. So please give some love. This took a little bit of coordinating to do for sure. We got some cool shirts. We got Madam Williams.
This is not what we should be doing. I don't even know why we fighting with Greenland. Why we fighting with Greenland? We fighting with Canada. We fighting with Mexico. Yet we in love with Putin. What is happening? Like, this is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the fuck up, because I'm ready to get on with it. That while we may not have the numbers just yet, that doesn't mean that we don't have fight left in our bodies. And so I am going to fight him every step of the way until we get what we deserve, because it was my ancestors that built this motherfucker. Okay, I'm done now. I'm done.
First of all, thank you for making the back of my head famous. But second of all, if we could do a sequel, if you could tell Donald Trump anything tonight, what would you tell him?
I would tell him to grow a spine and stop being Putin's hoe.
Yeah, so like I told you guys in my first video, I thought that President Trump's speech was amazing. I thought it was amazing when I was listening to it, and I thought it was amazing once I went to sleep last night and I woke up and I thought about it and I said, yeah, it still was amazing. And one of the reasons why it was amazing was because of the fact that President Trump did exactly what I had said that he should do when addressing the American people, which is to talk about the economy, okay? One, to explain to the American people, to educate the American people on the fact that, hey, a lot of this is Joe Biden, right? This is something that I'm currently cleaning up. This is his mess. He broke it, and I am going to fix it, okay? And it's going to take time, okay? He also thoroughly laid out his priorities when it comes to illegal immigration, when it comes to foreign policy. I mean, he went over everything in a way that I thought was very good, and I think very easy to digest for the American people, especially the Doge part, okay? Because the media has waged war against Doge. Is at the point now where they are quite literally interviewing federal workers about being fired, even though they didn't interview anybody who was fired because they refused to take the vaccine.
It really is a profound honor to have spent this time with you guys. And again, I just want to say, for me personally, on behalf of, I'm sure so many people that are watching, really sorry about the situation that you guys are in, and really wishing you guys all the best. Thank you guys very much. Steph, back over to you.
Jacob, thank you so much. What an impressive group of people, and just juxtapose that with the way both the president and Elon Musk talk in such derogatory terms about just the general federal government workforce.
Also, just like, what an impressive group of people, right? I mean, from all the different places I've ever worked in my life, like having a group of 4 colleagues that was that impressive and credentialed and articulate.
By the way,
it would be almost like working here.
Can we just point out all 4 of those people?
Yeah, amazing. Again, where was all that when thousands and thousands and thousands of people were losing their job because they refused to take an experimental vaccine? Okay, these people are so fake, right? They're so fake. Can't stand them. But anyways, like I said, President Trump had a great speech. Here are some of the highlights from his speech in which I think that President Trump really drove home the points that I think the American people really wanted to hear from him. Take a look.
I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Today I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Yeah, so I personally thought probably one of the best parts of the speech, again, besides him talking about the economy, was when he started talking about Doge, okay, and listing all the things that Doge found that we're wasting our taxpayer dollars on, right? That's what Democrats and liberal media don't want the American people to hear about, okay, because they're trying to frame Doge as a negative thing. Oh, Doge is weighing President Trump down, right? This is what they're saying, okay, that Doge is unpopular. Well, I don't think that's the case, right? I think that American people, when they become educated on what we're wasting our taxpayer dollars on, I think they're going to support us not sending our dollars overseas to support LGBTQ and far left social initiatives in the name of flexing soft power, right? I don't think that's a compelling argument to the American people, okay? So, of course, the mainstream liberal media, the cackling hens, they are fuming over President Trump's speech. They didn't like anything about it, of course, but they loved the Democrat speech, even though some people like Sunny Holston, for example, didn't even watch President Trump's speech, but she found a way to hate it for whatever reason. Take a look.
You know, before we get into the Democratic response, I just want to say I really miss Congress. Remember them?
Yeah.
They used to make the decisions and make the laws, and now we have nothing but executive orders.
Yeah.
It's so strange to me.
Can I speak to that? Or do you want to set this up?
Well,
All right.
yeah, because the Democratic Party response to last night's joint address to Congress was delivered by Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin. Take a look.
America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way. And we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country. President Trump loves to say peace through strength. That's actually a line he stole from Ronald Reagan. But let me tell you, after the spectacle that just took place in the Oval Office last week, Reagan must be rolling in his grave. Don't tune out. It's easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. Hold your elected officials, including me, accountable. Organize. Pick just one issue you're passionate about and engage. And doom scrolling doesn't count.
I thought she was very good and very presidential in many ways, and she wasn't being held hostage like the woman last year. But what I really wanted to talk about was something that you just said, that we don't have a separation of powers anymore.
No. Right.
And there was a moment there that really stopped my heart. And that was when Trump shook hands with the members of the Supreme Court who were there, and those were Kavanaugh, Kagan, Barrett, and Justice Roberts. He said to Justice Roberts, thank you again, won't forget it. Now, what do you think he was referring to? Something like...
I thought he helped him get into the men's room?
Well, no. The immunity that he basically passed on, correct? So that he would not be liable for the January 6th insurrection, if I recall.
He has a significant amount of immunity from this court, and I think, you know, most people know now that the Supreme Court's approval rating is lower than it's ever been in the history of the court.
To say thank you to the Chief Justice and for his personal victory
it's
shows
wholly
you
inappropriate.
There are no separations of powers anymore. The Congress is in the bag, Supreme Court is in the bag. I'm thinking that's what he was thinking anyway.
Can I add to that? Because, you know, while I didn't watch it, I was looking for signs of an opposition party, which is what the Democratic Party must be at this point, not a resistance, because resistance is passive. Opposition is active. And I think that what I saw when Representative Al Green stood up and said, you don't have a mandate to take away Medicaid, and he was tossed out, I expected the rest of his Democratic caucus, the rest of his colleagues to walk out with him. Because alone you can survive, but together you thrive. That is the energy that we need. They should have stood with him in solidarity. And we had Karine Jean-Pierre here on this show yesterday, and she said, we have to have a sense of urgency as we move forward, and we cannot do it the way we have in the past. This is not normal. It is a 5-alarm fire. And what I want to say to the Democrats is, you can't play by the rules with a party that has thrown away the rule book.
That's
you
right.
cannot do it.
I thought that Alyssa Slotkin was masterful, and I think she gave Democrats the winning message that they failed to have. But I thought the antics on the floor were not helpful. I don't think that waving a cane is the optics that the Democrats want in this moment.
Should they have done?
I don't think holding up signs which are now just being mocked on the internet. It's like, who is advising these people?
Written by Chat GPT. I mean, that's Jake said that. I was thinking fifth verse, same as first, second, third, fourth. Willie, there were the insults, there were the taunts, there were the exaggerations. There was a partisanship, top to bottom. There was the personal attacks, attacking people by name. And, of course, the facts that were just wrong, whether it was the United States spending more money on Ukraine or calling himself the greatest president with the greatest start. Oh, by the way, did you hear that number 2 is George Washington? I have not seen the historical treatise on that yet, but that's what President Trump said last night.
Since I started doing it when George W. Bush was president of the United States, I don't think I've ever seen something that was so pointed, so partisan, not just in what the president was saying, but in the mood in the room, the sort of
aggression, the occasional cruelty, the mocking, the laughter, it had a tone. I mean, these are usually moments for at least all of us to say, okay, I may not agree with you, Mr. President. I may have differences on that policy, but we're going to stand here at the top and we're going to say this is about our union, right? The things that we all can get together on. And there was none of that.
We should write down, do not speak the sentence, polarization can't get worse, because it keeps getting worse.
Fuck you for making me watch that.
I deserve that. That's true. That's fair. And I welcome that. I want to jump right into it because I think you and I might get on YouTube in a few minutes here and go talk to Don Lemon, which that'll be a completely different kind of shit show. But
yeah, so the opinions that actually really matter, okay, let's be honest here, are the opinions of the American people. The people who actually watched the speech overwhelmingly approve of the speech, okay? This CBS poll found things that the liberal media doesn't want to acknowledge. Like, for example, 76% of the speech watchers approved of his speech. Time spent on issues you care about. 63% of speech watchers said a lot. Party identification of speech watchers, now most of them were Republicans, but the other half were independents and Democrats. The speech made you feel hopeful, is what 61% of them said. 54% said proud. Only 27% said worried, and only 16% said angry. So we already know where the angry is coming from. Democrats, right? I would be angry too if I was a Democrat watching that speech. In speech, Trump was 74% say presidential, 74% say entertaining, 71% say inspiring, 62% say unifying, 46% say divisive, which is funny because, again, the mainstream liberal media, they're boo-hoo-whining and crying about how divisive the speech was. It was so divisive. Well, not according to the people that watched it, right? 62% of them said it was unified. Does Trump have a clear plan for inflation? 68% say yes, 32% say no. Like Trump's plans for waste in government spending, 70% like that. Immigration and border, 77% like it. Ukraine and Russia, 73% like it. Tariffs, 65% like it. Wow. Trump described crime problem as about as it is, 68%. Only 22% said worse than it really is. 10% said not as bad as it really is. Having congressmen removed from the chamber for interrupting Trump, 76% approve of that. Yeah, this is devastating. This is absolutely devastating for the liberal media and the Democrats, okay? Most people, vast majority of people, again, a lot of them, half of them were Republicans that watched it, but still, I mean, Democrats, they don't want to watch the speech. That's on them, right? That's on them. But again, regardless, a vast majority of people that watched his speech approved of it. They liked what President Trump had to say, and he did exactly what I said he should do going into the speech. And lo and behold, look at that. Positive results. Okay, so again, the media is going to cry about it. They're going to boo-hoo. Okay, they're going to spin it. But hey, at least in this case, the numbers are saying that the American people approved the speech, right? That it was a great speech. I thought it was one of his best speeches ever. And, President Trump, I think he did exactly what he came into the speech to accomplish. He pissed off the Democrats while at the same time getting the approval of the American people, because their approval is what really matters. Okay, so right now, the American people are still on President Trump's side. Clearly, this is something that the mainstream liberal media doesn't like, right? They hate it. And that's the funniest part about all this. That's the best part about it, is that despite the propaganda, the American people still overwhelmingly approve of the president. They approved of the speech. And the Democrats, again, they seem to be in free fall, while President Trump seems to still have the support of the American people. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.